Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards, and in this video I want to re-rank the 2024 top Series 2 rookies, including the short print rookies that I just found out about. Okay, so when Topps released their official checklist, it did not include the short print rookies. These rookies are Jackson Churio, Jackson Merrill, and Wyatt Langford. It does not include Paul Skeens or Jackson Holiday. These rookies are going to be the short prints for cards number 698, 699, and 700. So I wanted to re-record this video just for the top 5 players, including these 3, because these 3, spoiler alert, are all basically top 5, all top 10 prospects, all very sought after. And the old list, you can see it right here. This was the top 10 previously. Melvy Marte, he actually got caught during steroids in, I think, spring training. He's not played yet this year, but everything else adds up to like a really high score. I dropped him to number 10 because of that. People were upset I did not include Wilyer Abreu in place of Melvy Marte. Wilyer Abreu, he actually had a score of 5, which I can discuss later, which is why he wasn't here. But if you include him over Marte, I see no fault there. He's been the best, one of the best offensive rookies so far this year, but he's 25, so he's older. He's not been great in the minor leagues, and his prospect rankings weren't that high, which is why he is where he was. But number 6, I said top 5, I lied. There's actually 6 because I wanted to include Mason Wynn. I think he deserves being talked about. He's been probably the best offensive rookie in the National League so far, with Wilyer Abreu being his counterpart in the AL, or arguably one of the best in the AL. But the way I actually calculate these rankings, you'll see age, prospect ranking, minor league stats, and major league stats. Age is important because if you are a young player, your cards generally have more value because people expect you to. If you're making the big leagues and playing good, your odds of actual staying power in the hobby are significantly higher. Prospect ranking, because there's actual people who are experts out there and scouts who rank these prospects and say, based off of all of these different things, their potential, this is how good they're going to be, so I include that. 8 represents that he's 22 years old. If he was 25, he'd get 5 points for age. For prospect ranking, if he's in the top 10, he'll get 10 points. If he's in the 40s, like Mason Wynn is, he'll get 6 points. And the minor league stats and major league stats are a good old 1 through 10. I look at your stats and I say you're a 1 through 10, essentially. And the one thing I want to point out is I include both of these because major league stats can be misleading with rookies. They may have very small sample sizes, or they may just have a really good rookie year, and that's not really who that player is as the league adjusts to them. So I think it's important to include all 4 of those. You add them up, divide it by 4, and that's how you get your score. In Mason Wynn's case, it is a 7, which is very high. He's been very, very good so far this year. At number 5, we have Junior Caminero, who is 20 years old, which is why he has 10 points. Prospect ranking is a top 10 prospect in Major League Baseball. Minor league stats are really good. They're really good, which is why he's a 7. But actually in AAA this year, he's not been that good. And he hasn't been in the big leagues this year. He's only played 7 games total. Those are the 7 last year, which is why he has a 3. So I know that's tough, but 7.5 for Junior Caminero. And to be completely transparent, a lot of the players in this list can basically be swapped. And I think everybody wouldn't complain because they're all very similar in regards to hype. All top 10 prospects, basically. On top of that, they've all been okay at the big league level, at least numbers 5 through 2. Speaking of which, we have Jackson Churio, one of the first short print rookies. He is number 4, and the reason for that, he's 20 years old, 10 points there, top 10 prospect. His minor league stats weren't as good as I expected them to be to actually get the contract he received from the Brewers, and his major league stats aren't there. I gave him 4 instead of lower, even though he has a 67 OPS plus, because he still is a positive WAR player. And I know league average for OPS plus could be a metric to say that's actually deserving of 5, but overall with defense, base running, offense, he's been at least not a negative point for the Brewers, and he could just be figuring it out because I think he basically jumped from AA to the big leagues, if I'm not mistaken, and that can take time to adjust, especially being 20 years old, and I think the average Major League Baseball player is like 27 or 28, so he's well below that age curve, and so he can figure it all out. But that is Jackson Churio at number 4. At number 3 of Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill is 21 years old. He's not quite a top 10 prospect, but he's in the teens. Minor league stats are good, 6.5 out of 10. They're not like amazing, but they're good for a primary shortstop outfielder. Moved to the outfield this year, and his major league stats are a 6. He has a lot of D WAR, which is defensive WAR, meaning he's a good defensive player, and he actually is adding value on the base paths as well. Almost league average with the bat so far, but has 1.1 WAR, which is why he has 6 for his major league stats. Could argue higher, you could argue lower. Actual traditional metrics outside of WAR and taking in defense aren't very impressive, but including those, he's been really good for the Padres. So that's not bad. That's Jackson Merrill at number 3. At number 2, we have Wyatt Langford. Wyatt Langford has been worse in the big leagues than Jackson Merrill for sure, but he has significantly more upside, I would argue, offensively than Jackson Merrill, which may be backwards because Jackson Merrill has been better this year. But again, he's a rookie, and sometimes rookies take a moment to adjust in the big leagues. Look at Mike Trout in 2011. He wasn't really good until 2012. He actually got demoted in 2011 back to AAA Salt Lake, and then he came back and won Rookie of the Year the next year. But Wyatt Langford is 22 years old. He is a top 10 prospect. His minor league stats are insane. They're insane. And he was drafted to actually be MLB ready quick, which is what we're seeing. But his minor league stats are very good. Like, he had a 1.1 OPS last year across, I think, like 3 different levels of the minor league, with the majority of his games coming at AAA. So he was really solid. So I gave him 10 points for minor league stats. The major league stats, there's a lot left to be desired with Wyatt Langford. I do think he'll figure it out. But that is how he ended up at number 2 with a score of 7.75. And at number 1, I still have Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I still believe in Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I gave him 10 for prospect ranking, even though it's not a prospect. I explained this in the past video. I'm counting international hype as the same thing. He would have been a top 10 prospect if he started in the minor leagues. Like, he's that good. He's won 3 MVPs in the MPB in Japan. He's been one of the most dominant pitchers ever. And for that reason, he actually received the largest pitching contract in Major League Baseball history without even throwing a pitch in Major League Baseball. So again, the top 5, they can all switch up real quick, but I think the top 5 deserves to be where they are, including Mesa wins. You can say top 6. Those are the clear best players, even if they're slightly, you can change positions a little bit. But I do think Yoshinobu Yamamoto has the chance to be something really special. He is older at 25, prospect ranking is a 10. Minor league stats, I used international stats. He's won 3 MVPs in a professional league. Major league stats have been good so far, right? Aside from 1 or 2 bad starts, he's been really, really good. And on top of that, it looks like he's starting to actually figure out Major League Baseball and become the player he was supposed to be. And one thing I want to point out here, the final ratings, I did include Wilyer Abreu for everybody. He has a score of 5. You can see he's 25 years old. Minor league stats were good. I gave him a 7. They weren't like amazing, but they were good. He was not ranked as a prospect, but overall he has 8 for major league stats because he's been great for a score of 5. I do just want to say the set went from really bad to really good. I wouldn't say it's really good, it's good. It's a good set now. I think there's a lot more potential in it. The short print rookies are tough because there's no parallel, so you lose that upside. I used to love short print rookies, but now I don't like short print rookies because what it does is it just makes it confusing. Like, we can look at, I think Bobby Witt Jr. has a short print rookie in 2022, and no one really cares about it. Like, right? It's not special anymore. If we look at Bryce Harper in 2012, he has his true flagship as a short print rookie. And what they did with Bryce Harper, then in Topps Update, they gave him just a rookie debut card, and that card has parallels. But now these players have their short print flagship rookie, and then they have another flagship card in Topps Update with parallels of that card, and it just makes it completely unnecessarily confusing. For example, Jackson Holiday, his flagship rookie parallels will be worth more than all these other players who have short print rookies because it's not confusing. You know what the Jackson Holiday card to get is. Well, these other ones, they have this card competing as well as the update card. And in the past, I was really excited about short print rookies, but that was with the assumption they'd be similar to Bryce Harper, where the debut would now be the base card and update. But that's not the case anymore, so I don't love it. I wish that if they're going to do this, just give them an update. Don't give them another flagship card and call it a day. But either way, it is what it is. And the top 5 of this list, I would say, are interchangeable. If you'd argue, you know what, Junior Caminero is way too low, he should be number 2. Great. This is just how the numbers worked out for me. I think the top 6 are the correct top 6. They just might not be in the perfect order in your eyes. But let me in the comments down below if there's one player I'm particularly really excited about. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.